Well, doctors from Children's Hospital of Wisconsin and a complete stranger from halfway around the world team up to save a little boy from a life-threatening condition.
Courtney Garrett shows us an emotional meeting of two families who now share the same DNA. It's new at 10.
The search for a cure led Jake Larkin and his family to call the Milwaukee area home for months. But that was just the beginning of the journey to save him from a rare condition. A journey that led this family to travel more than 5,000 miles to say thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. You don't need to say thank you at all. That's fine.
Jane and Jake, they couldn't be more different and yet the same.
Jake's DNA is Jane's, and so there is a bond there.
It's a meeting the Larkin family always hoped would happen. We first shared Jake Larkin's story 3 years ago. He was 6 and diagnosed with a rare blood disorder called aplastic anemia. Jake left California to be treated at Children's Hospital in Milwaukee. His only option, a bone marrow transplant.
It's not very often in life that you get to say thank you to a person that saved your child's life.
Jane Theobald is that person, a history teacher in England. Jane signed up for the International Bone Marrow Registry 30 years ago. And then in 2012, she got the call about a match. Jake had the transplant at Children's that year.
Our son was not going to live. He was not going to grow up. He was not going to be here with us. Without your gift, we would have buried our son. And instead of that, here we are.
An emotional meeting in England this summer for the two families, with a little humor mixed in.
I promised I wouldn't cry.
She's American.
Just took us right in. We had a blast.
It was so ironic because we went over there to say thank you to them, and they welcomed us as if we were guests of honor.
We caught up with Kimberly Clough and Bob Larkin after their trip across the pond. Jake was back at Children's for another checkup.
Hello, Jake. How are you?
Dr. David Margolis is the medical director of the blood and marrow transplant program at Children's.
Hold your breath.
Jake is one of the success stories.
Yell really loud. Perfect. Outstanding. You wouldn't know that he had a bone marrow transplant from looking at him or looking at his blood work.
Finding a bone marrow match for Jake was tough. Jane wasn't the ideal candidate, but it was his best option to live.
We need more diversity in the donor pool, absolutely. We also, as a transplant community, are learning to do mismatched transplants better.
The reason Jake can now do all the boy stuff he missed out on.
That I can play an adult.
A wish the Larkin family has for every child fighting to get better, so they too can say thank you to a stranger for their gift. The Larkins continue to share their story to encourage more of us to get tested to be bone marrow donors so that every child has a match. For more information on the process to become a donor, go to our website. Courtney Garrett, today's TMJ4.
Well, that's a great story.
It
What are
is.
the odds?